It's getting even worse for Keir Starmer, and he's nowhere to be seen, and he's been issued even more bad news. Over the last day, of course, we have been keeping you up to date with regard to the Survivors Liaison Panel for the full national inquiry into the grooming gang cover-up, and we've said that 2 of those survivors have resigned. Now, we've got a fresh revelation and some breaking news. This is with regard to one of the potential chairs who is going to be heading up this inquiry. She has in fact pulled out of it due to not wanting to be a part of a inquiry cover-up into a cover-up. Yes, it's insane. Let's go through this, let's break it all down. But as always, guys, please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. So this is what's been saying right now. As stated, some breaking news, and that's with regard to Annie Hudson. Now, Annie Hudson is one of the potential chairs. She's completely withdrawn out of it this morning after extensive criticism of the handling of the inquiry. As this user has said, it's a stitch-up and everybody knows it. The victims are withdrawing, the chairs are withdrawing, no one wants to be a part of this cover-up. It's very much true. Let's go through what is being said with regard to this.
And joining us now with some breaking news is our national reporter, Charlie Peters.
Well, Annie Hudson, the former social worker who was in line to be one of the prospective chairs for the grooming gang inquiry, has this morning removed herself from the process. Survivors on the panel have told GB News that they were informed this morning ahead of interviews with 2 of the candidates that one, Annie Hudson, was taking a step back and no longer wished to be involved, and they were told, we understand, that this was based on media reports. I am told that Jim Gamble, the former police officer, very senior Northern Irish police officer, performed very well, and I've heard positive responses from many of the survivors about what he had to say, particularly on his process, on the sort of level of evidence that he'd be willing to go to. But that means there's only now one prospective chair in the running. Last night, Jess Phillips, the safeguarding minister, said it was untrue that judges were not interested in the role. But so far, Annie Hudson and Jim Gamble were the only names announced, and one of them has now withdrawn.
And she's gone because she thinks the report, the inquiry is too discredited already?
But we don't know the specific reasons, but we do know that what survivors have been told, as far as we understand, is that there were concerns that she had about media coverage in recent days. It does point, obviously, to the wider concerns that are being raised about this inquiry process. 2 survivors have quit already. I'm hearing concerns from others who are still on the panel.
Absolute shambles.
And they're quitting in part, they say, because the scope of the inquiry they feel is being expanded. The Home Office say this is absolutely not true. It's not being watered down. But we do know that they have been asked on these panel discussions about whether it should look further.
Who do you believe, the Home Office or the actual survivors on the liaison panel, and now potential chairs? What they're trying to do, and we know it, I said in the last video, they're trying to cover up a cover-up, essentially. They're trying to broaden the scope so it doesn't affect badly on the Pakistanis. They don't want to make it about race nor religion because of the insiders in the Labour Party and who they sort of represent. I told you, they are losing voters by the absolute bucket load, and the 4 million Muslim votes is very important to them. That's why they are dragging their heels, and that's why Keir Starmer is trying to facilitate another cover-up. And that means now that the only person that is left in the running is a Labour activist police officer. That's it. As stated, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. And apparently there's some urgent questions to be asked in the House of Commons today. But guess what? Keir Starmer won't be there. The man who should be answering these questions is nowhere to be seen. He's so focused on international affairs. Let's get some more reaction of all of this.
New senior political commentator Nigel Nelson. Shall we ask, do you think they are sabotaging the inquiry at the grooming gang?
No, I don't. No, I don't. But
I knew you would say that.
I do think that Jess Phillips should be having a word with...
This is the safeguarding minister.
Yeah, the safeguarding minister, with Fiona Goddard and Ellie Reynolds. I mean, their criticism appears to be that they don't like the people being considered for the chairmanship on the basis that they're coming from police or social...
And they feel those organisations let them down.
Yeah,
with some justification.
Yeah, so one can understand their concerns there, but I mean, then the question is, then who do you have? I mean, well, I think probably a judge is probably the answer.
But they can't find lawyers or judges who are willing to do this.
Who don't want to do it.
Because of the reputational risk. And that wasn't the only complaint that these two survivors made. They also alleged that they were being asked to submit questions in advance, that they weren't being given full access to the terms of reference, indeed that the terms of reference had already been nailed down, making the consultation useless.
Yeah. Now,
so there are many different aspects.
Oh yes, there's all those things, but it does seem to me that the first stage is talk to Jess Phillips about the inquiry.
Right.
I mean, obviously there was the question about whether or not the Alexis J inquiry was good enough. It's been decided it wasn't good enough, which I think is a pity because we need those recommendations put in. But anyway, when it comes to this present one, I think Andrew's right. A judge sounds like the best bet if you can find one. But the first thing is...
A foreign judge.
I do think you want to get survivors onto the inquiry. And if they're saying, look, we're being treated badly and it's not working...
I mean, Renee, you can understand why the survivors might not trust Jess Phillips very much, because after all, it was her refusal to meet with some of the people demanding an inquiry that led to the scandal re-emerging in the first place.
I mean, look, Labour were brought here screaming and kicking. They did not want this inquiry to happen. We know why they didn't want it to happen, because half of them won't have seats at the next election because of the independents in this new sectarian politics that we have.
This is a little unfair.
I didn't interrupt you, so please don't interrupt
All right,
me.
but it's not unfair.
It's not unfair. So the other issue here is whether they're doing it deliberately or whether they're just incompetent. Who can know? But I'd say that part of this, they don't really want this inquiry to happen. I think it is absolutely obscene that they would consider anyone from the police or the social services who have so many questions to answer to chair this. I would say if they can't find a judge, Maggie Oliver would be the perfect person to do this. But of course, they would never use her either because she exposed all of this. She lost her job in the police by exposing all of this. And if you read Maggie's book, there are police that were potentially implicated in the ferrying around of these young girls. This is an inquiry that has to happen. It has to happen quickly, and Labour have to bite the bullet here and show that they are not biased towards their vote, Nigel. Show that I'm being unfair. Prove me wrong.
So you're suggesting part of the reason they don't want this inquiry at any time quickly, it's already been 4 months, and we've lost survivors have quit, we haven't got the chairman yet, there's some suggestion they're interviewing today. Because many of the areas where it happened were Labour strongholds, Labour councils.
Yes, of course.
So did Labour councillors turn a blind eye? Did the police in those areas turn a blind eye? Did social services?
I mean, whether or not they were Labour, but yes, I think that's one part of it. But the other part of it is just whoever it was, of what political colours, were turning a blind eye because of the ethnicity of the perpetrators.
And Pakistani men.
Yeah, they still don't want to confront this because we are living in a very difficult political scenario.
And that's what some of the survivors have said, Nigel. They think that the inquiry, in terms of already trying to push that bit out, which would be outrageous.
It would be outrageous because that was the original mistake that was made.
Casey's audit said. It was clear it was.
I mean, I don't think Labour tried to sabotage it. I mean, the only reason that they were reluctant to go ahead with it.
Yeah, well, it's clear as day what they're up to. It really is clear as day what they're up to, and you can tell just by all of the developments that have happened over the last 24 hours in themselves where Labour sit on this, and where Keir Starmer sits on this, and why it's not going forward. It's simple. It really is. It's two things. Protecting the Muslim vote. And the second one, of course, they don't want to investigate themselves. There's a way around this by bringing a foreign judge in to be the chair of this. Then there's an unbiased way of investigating this, and we'll get to the bottom of it. But, as stated, it's coming from the top. Keir Starmer doesn't want this. Guys, do let me know your thoughts on this down there in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.